Billy is, I'm guessing that's a deist, calling in from Tiny Xylophones. His pronouns he, him, has an argument for the supernatural via the observer effect, and Billy has been waiting for 2 goddamn hours to talk to us about this.
Yeah.
So let's hang up on him immediately. Billy, you were on AXP. Thank you for waiting so long. What do you got for us today?
It's okay. I got pizza too. So.
Oh, good. Good.
Is there pineapple on it, Billy?
No.
Okay.
Never be pineapple.
Coward.
Coward. All right, what you got?
Does the pineapple collapse the wave function, which is what we're about to start talking about?
Hey, dude, that's I've not observed any pineapple on my pizza.
Oh my God.
So no observer.
Can I ask you guys a real quick question first?
Sure.
Like, what if? Because I was listening to the last call, and like, what if God, like, he just appears in front of you, and you guys are like, "Holy shit, dude, you're not gonna make us worship you, are you?" And he's like, "Why the hell would why would I do that?" And you guys are like, "Well, because the Bible." And he's like, "Dude, everything in that book is horse shit. Like, why are you guys listening to that?"
Yeah, I mean, it probably accept that the thing is real, you know.
Well, I don't know. The first
reason.
thing I would do is check the water supply to see if
Right, I mean,
acid in it.
right. Once we've determined we're not tripping balls,
If we can assume that absolutely no question this actually is for real God, who's like, the Bible's all wrong, I still have several questions, and he still has a lot to answer for. Yeah. So, like, are we assuming that this God, you're calling in as a deist, so I'm assuming the answer to this is no, but are we assuming this God is actually all-knowing, all-powerful, cares about human affairs and all those things?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's all-knowing or all-powerful.
Well, that'll matter for me and for our answers, because we'll give you a straightforward, like, no, that thing can't exist.
Yeah, no, if there is a God that is all-knowing and all-powerful, then it is certainly not all good, and I would still have a big issue with it.
Let's just say that he's able to, or whatever he, I guess, is able to prove to you guys sufficiently that it is it is a powerful God.
It's always a man. It's always a man.
And
it's always a man.
It's always got.
I don't know why it's always a man, but it's always a man.
Always got.
Should be a cat. It should be like
I try to switch it up.
Like,
I use she. I use they. I use it. I try to mix it up a little bit just to see.
The reason I'm getting
powerful
this,
scissors.
the reason I'm getting at this is it because the Bible sucks and like makes God out to be like a piece of shit? Is that like really kind of why you guys?
No.
No. I mean, that's stuff that's fun to talk about.
Sprinkles on the shit.
Yeah, right.
We don't do an appeal to emotion to get to the conclusion. It's just like we can, like, after we've like become pretty confident that the proposition of the probability of that proposition is pretty unlikely. It doesn't. Right. We can just add more shit on top of that.
Right. The evidence for this proposition is unfounded. And also, it's kind of fucking dumb, and that's fun to make fun of it.
And
I do it with astrology.
And if we want to throw the emotion back on top, we can even say, like, put the Bible aside, please. The whole, just any God that would run a universe like this is a lunatic. And so, like, I'm not, even if we didn't have the Bronze Age sex manual backing them up, that what we're living in right now is sufficient evidence to say that if there is a God, I don't like him.
We'd all be walking away, like, making fun of the dude as we walked away. Like,
we'd be
loser.
Thumbing our nose at God. Also, we'd be doing all sorts of childish shit. And then we go to hell.
What if he's like, I didn't...
Eternity without that guy.
Like, I didn't make all that stuff, or he's like, I didn't make suffering happen. It's
okay,
these are all, like,
in fairness...
But is he powerful enough to fix it, though?
Yeah.
Because, like... I didn't make a lot of shit happen, but I'm trying to make it better.
Yeah, and in fairness, Billy, we can just keep rolling this fucking hypothetical ball as many miles as we want. Let's not.
Yeah,
we can really boil it down.
Yeah,
if you just go to the old the Epicurus little trifecta, like when you deal with the problem of evil or just suffering in general or the world, the way anything it is, just say evil as a kind of a catch-all phrase. If God is able to stop evil but not willing, then he himself is evil. If he's willing to stop it but not able, then he's impotent. He's useless. If he's both willing and able, then this universe shouldn't exist. And if he's neither willing nor able, then why the hell do you call him God? Yeah. So if this guy's going to show up and he's going to be like, yo, I'm not responsible for this, but I sure am here, I'm going to tell him to get out of my fucking way because I'm on the way to the library. And it's like that's going to be it.
Deism just seems intuitively so false to me because of this, like, It seems so obviously stemmed from humans, where it's like, I want to believe in this thing, but I want to strip away as much of this traditional stuff out of it and just have him like this like cosmic peeping Tom God. It's like, I've absolved myself from a lot of the critiques I can have, but it's like the most inert shit ever. It's like, it has this desire and reason to create, but then it's like, nah, I don't really care. Do your thing. It just seems so like clearly primate driven, like to me.
But what if life is supposed to be a challenge? Like, because
why?
You would think that
why would it be? Why is it supposed to be a challenge?
Why does that matter?
Like, okay, fine, we can do the hypothetical game, but this is where we're gonna get to, man.
Right.
We're gonna get to why is it a challenge, and ultimately it's gonna get to a place where it's like, well, because we want to know what the fucking answer will be after the fucking test, right? But that doesn't make sense if you have this thing that already knows everything and is all capable and shit. It just collapses.
Well, challenges make you stronger.
No, I agree, but
I want to get to.
Yeah, I was going to say you have the observer thing.
Yeah, let's do the observer
finish
effect.
this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys agree that 95% of the universe is we can't directly observe 95% of the universe?
Yes.
Right, because it's made of a material that's not detectable.
Dark matter and or dark energy.
Matter,
Seems
dark energy.
right.
Yeah.
That stuff's not detectable.
Sure.
Would you say that it's pretty supernatural for a cat to be both alive and dead at the same time, right?
No,
that's just
that was like, from my understanding, that's like an a priori objection to like a certain interpretation to say that
it was just kind of like a thought experiment.
It's like the idea is it's like this a priori consideration of like, well, look, you get this contradiction on this type of interpretation, and classical logic's true, and you can't have proposition in conjunction with its negation, so it must be false. There's people that take it in that route. But that's not the supernatural stuff, or that's not the thing that's like interesting in this case. But it says something about the observer effect. Will you talk about that?
Is that
what I want to get to?
What are you saying?
Right. Well, things exist in every possible state until an intelligent observation or measurement is made of it.
Okay.
Right. So
yeah, I don't.
Well, hold on. Let's let him go. Let's let him finish.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Right. So things exist in every possible state, right, until an intelligent observation made of it. And so 95% of the universe is not observable. So therefore, you cannot collapse the wave function on 95% of.
When you say observe, do you reference? Are you saying conscious agent observing, or are you talking about macroscopic objects? Because if you just look really quickly on the observer effect, there's like blurbs on this that what is like you pull up the Wikipedia, it'll say exactly what I'm about to say to you. I promise, because I've looked at this. A common misunderstanding on the observer effect is that conscious agents collapse the wave function. Right. What's really happening is we're talking about like macroscopic objects that are interacting. Right? There's like some type of interaction. It has nothing to do with intentional states like beliefs and desires or anything like that, because you have like just dispositional type of macroscopic objects that have no intentional states that are causing this. The observer effect is like, this has been, I think it's like the 40s or 50s or something, that this has like been misunderstood and squashed. And I've had like on my own thing that I do sometimes with a buddy of mine, his brother's a quantum physics educator at a university my brother went to, and he cringes every time people bring this up. So I can't take serious at all this argument that fundamentally misunderstands the observer effect as dealing with mental items as opposed to like a macroscopic object.
Of course, the introduction of the observer must not be misunderstood to imply some sort of subjective features that are brought to the description of nature. Yep. The observer has, rather, only the function of registering decisions, i.e. processes in space and time. It does not matter whether the observer is an apparatus or a human being, but the registration, i.e. the transition from the possible to the actual, is absolutely necessary here and cannot be omitted from the interpretation of quantum theory. That's by Heisenberg himself. So, like, just saying, well, there's some stuff we can't observe and all this, it doesn't matter. Something can interact with it. Something can observe it. Dark matter is part of the reason why galaxies are held together in the shape they are. Something's interacting with it, and it doesn't have to be a human mind doing the observation. So that's just not how that works.
Well, it's not that we can't observe it. We can't even detect it with even the most powerful system
right. We can't, but something is interacting with it. And so, like, as Heisenberg said, we don't have to have a conscious agent messing with this thing. Anything can observe it. And observation means different. It doesn't just mean looking at it, It means noting the effects, Also, nobody up here is a physicist.
Yeah,
So,
I was just literally about to say I am not a physicist, but assuming that this is true, like, and we're accurately, representing, which I've talked with physicists about this, and they've given me kind of the green light, but we still should inquire, right? We should be proper skeptics about this. Given all that, do you agree that, like, if this is true, that this is an undercutting or rebutting defeater for your argument, and therefore it just like doesn't go through, right? It's just the premise is clearly false.
Yeah.
I mean,
right?
well, I mean, I understand that it doesn't have to be a conscious observer. Like,
No, I'm asking you a specific question. I'm asking you a specific question. If I formalize this in propositional logic, and we put these premises down, we give an inferential structure that guarantees the truth of the conclusion once these premises are accepted to be true. If one of your premises has an undercutting or rebutting defeater that shows that it's false, then your conclusion cannot be, well, it could be true, but for different reasons, right?
But wouldn't my argument have to be in syllogistic format in order?
You don't. I'm
what he's
okay with
saying,
naturalist. I'm okay with natural language. I'm just saying if we took a proper care of this argument, we wanted to make sure it
You're basically saying, Billy, because of X and because of Y, we get to Z. And what Mike is saying is, yeah, but if we go back to X and can totally demonstrate it's not true, and you need both X and Y to get to Z,
You need a new argument for Z.
you don't get to Z, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying Z is false. I'm just saying you need a new argument for Z. These reasons could never lead you there because they're false propositions.
And I honestly don't know how, even if we do say that it has to be like a conscious mind for the observer effect to work, I don't see how that gets us to the supernatural. That's still a massive.
Well,
massive jump.
they want to do like before third generation star stuff. Like there's this ultimate fundamental mind that's collapsing. They want to go there, but it's just a fundamental misunderstanding. Yeah.
Wouldn't it just be?
Would you agree? Would you agree that it's not natural for matter to be undetectable?
No.
If I was undetectable, if I was undetectable, would I be supernatural?
No. It's like to say that in and of itself, that phrase of like,
Was the Higgs boson supernatural?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's lots of shit that's been undetectable for a long time.
Right.
It's certainly not supernatural. We just covered dark matter and dark energy, which are called dark because that's literally the filler word for we don't fucking know what this is. It doesn't interact with any light whatsoever, but clearly it's doing a thing, and we don't know what's going on there, and we have nothing that can interact with it in any meaningful way. But it is clearly having a serious effect on the universe, and it's also 95% of the shit that we're living in or whatever.
Exactly.
So that doesn't mean it's supernatural.
There's a lot of room.
It just means that it's something we don't understand yet. And something we don't understand yet is not magic. You're doing the classic, just like, I don't know what this is, therefore it must be magical. And you're not going to like that when you then find out the actual naturalistic explanation for that thing.
don't stop the progress of learning by arbitrarily
Deciding
taking a conclusion.
it's magic.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah,
But
don't do
isn't
that.
that's assuming that it's possible to learn about it in the future.
No, it isn't.
I mean, what if-
no, it
No, it's
isn't.
not.
It's
We're
not
just-
assuming that at all.
with-
All we're saying is we're in the boat of going, hey, man, yeah, there might be some confusing stuff we're not super sure about yet. And like, that's it. That's the fucking boat, man. And you're going, oh, well, it could be this. Like, it could be. It's possible. And what we're saying is you've got no reason to accept that it could be magic yet.
It just seems like incredulity if you're like,
It
I can't
is
imagine X,
incredulity.
therefore it's Y.
Right. It sounds so wild and crazy. So.
But we find components that do defy the fundamental laws in that space.
So
You know what that means?
I'm-
It means we reevaluate
Look
the
at-
laws, y'all.
There you go.
That's the thing about
you
science
go.
is that science is not some big book
Yeah.
that we go pull down and look at and then we learn about the universe. Science is just the process of people looking at nature, finding patterns and drawing boxes around those patterns. That doesn't mean the boxes are real, and it doesn't even mean that the patterns are real. It's just all we're doing to try to identify stuff. Lots of theories and lots of laws have been changed and disproven and reevaluated and reworked over time. So if we find something new in physics that changes what we thought we knew, then we change what we know.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's weird. It's because it seems like
that's
before
cheating, though,
Darwin,
dude.
like selection
That's
for
cheating.
some phenotypic advantage or something was like supernatural or something, and then now it's like, oh, there's this phenotypic trait moves the fixation in this population. It's like, well, before we discovered that was like some supernatural selection for stuff or something.
Right.
I don't really understand. Like, it just seems like you could just be like, well, like Elliot said, the boat is like, there's just more work to be done. It's not presupposing some other thing.
Right.
We might actually be able to show in principle, that this thing couldn't be achieved.
And all we're ever doing when we do discover these things, when we do finally get some beautiful set of bullet points that helps us explain, like, it is not saying, oh, well, fuck that. We know everything there is to know about sharks, you guys. Like, let's just close the book. We did it. We got it. Like, no, all we're simply saying is, oh my gosh, we have all of this information that leads us to these conclusions here. And it's like, wow, that's so cool. I mean, like right now, again, like what Forrest was talking about earlier, how basically all sharks just have teeth all over their fucking body. That's crazy. You know what, though? Tomorrow we could find out that actually that protein is part of something else that, eventually turns into blah, blah. And it's not actually all teeth. It's actually all toenails. That could be the fucking case, man. But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And doing that, jumping to that conclusion arbitrarily, it hinders us from actually figuring this stuff out. So
I just want to point out before you called, I actually wrote down and circled, the mind does not collapse the wave function. And then I put an arrow and said, macroscopic instruments.
You guys have been prophesizing
and I don't know anything about this, but the one thing I know is that this is like a fundamental misunderstanding of quantum mechanics.
Yeah. Anyway, Billy, I'm going to let you respond. You got 3 people talking at you, so I'll let you respond, and then we'll move on.
So, the large. Well, how about the large quasar group? That's supernatural. It's always been supernatural.
It is.
Did you just drop
It's
the
always
other
been.
thing?
It's always been supernatural.
Yeah. Did you just drop the other thing and now we're on to this? Like,
Billy,
come on.
What I can't stress this enough.
Well, you guys said that,
Billy,
you guys said that once something is found.
No.
Wait. You guys said that once some. Wait, can I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
You guys said that once something is found, we just simply change physics to make it where it's not supernatural anymore. They haven't done that.
Don't
with
change
physics
not what we're doing.
That's not what I said. That is not at all what I said.
Forrest changes the physics to make it non-supernatural.
What I said was, when we encounter new evidence that contradicts our model, then we need to change our model to account for that new evidence. What you're talking about is not supernatural. It may be incredible. It may be largely unexplained, but weird doesn't equal magic. And so all we're saying is, okay, there's a lot of shit out there that is difficult to explain, that doesn't seem to work with the physics that we have. Anything below the Planck time or the Planck length, that's shit that physics breaks and we can't do anymore. I'm clearly a biologist. All the physicists watching are like,
you said it right,
idiot. You could do this better. But the point is, like, we adjust to new evidence. That's not cheating. That's the reason you're able to call us on the internet now, because we thought we knew some stuff. We learned new things and we changed our model.
That just seems like you're unwilling. Wait, that just seems like you're unwilling to ever accept the possibility that something might.
I find it adorable that you're charging incredulity on Forrest's part this entire time.
I also find it frustrating that you're telling me, well, you're just unwilling to accept something supernatural, when so far your argument has been, I don't know what this is, it's therefore magic.
I'm unwilling to accept it's natural.
You're unwilling to accept that there's a naturalist explanation, even if we don't have it yet.
Billy, literally, Billy, 5 seconds ago, dude, you literally were like, this quasar thing, that was supernatural. Like, you just like asserted it. Like, it wasn't like you cared about, like, here are the reasons that might lead you to think this thing. You were just like, fuck that, man. Fuck this. It's supernatural. Well, how is that supposed to convince anybody? And then you want to sit here and go, he's unwilling. You weren't even fucking willing to give reasons for why you think X is supernatural. You were just willing to fucking assert it. Don't charge my co-host with incredulity when you have been the most incredulous person I've talked to so far.
Shit, man, you guys are fucking.
Yeah, get mad.
Right.
Jesus Christ. See, now you're muted, man. Look, Billy, call us back another day. I know it gets frustrating sometimes when you have spent, all of maybe 5-6 full seconds thinking about something, and then somebody pushes back on it. 12 seconds. I apologize. I'm not trying to be a dick. Honestly, Billy.
I said he needs 12 seconds.
He needs 12
It might help.
Look, seriously, Billy. think a little bit more on this. Rewatch this, okay? I know a lot of times when you're doing this live, especially when it is sometimes the first time you've presented something to other people, like it can be difficult. But man, what I want you to see when you go back and you watch, I want you to see how like tentative we are when we say certain things, like, hey man, we're not really sure about that, but it doesn't seem to be the case, you know? And then I want you to see that moment where you just go out of nowhere, yeah, well, this quasar is fucking supernatural.
And everybody knows it.
And everybody knows. It's always been like that.
Yeah.
I just want you to look at the contrast between that, man, because I think that's an important
fuck me for showing you something wrong about your argument, and then you just being like, oh, this is supernatural.
I think, Billy, you should take a page out of Jimmy's book, and when you have questions about this, go find your local physicist and ask them some questions and pray about it, and then they will guide you on the right path.
Might happen.
Billy, with that, we're going to move on.